These people don't give a shit.
Who's giving them the business?
All the man is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He got it.
Goes Davis.
Oh my God.
Davis is going to run it all the way back.
Deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown. And the Gators have won the game.
To the 40, Herbert Whitfield to the 30, to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown FSU.
What's up?
It's me,
Hey,
Daddy, Roberto.
It's me,
hi, Roberto.
Polito, and Davey Dave. And it's a special week because I've been looking forward to this for a few years. I'm big on the Florida Gators, if you can't tell. I'm full garb tonight because we're wearing black uniforms this week. So I had to call in an expert, someone who knows a lot about Gator threads, vintage wear, Florida wear. He collects it all. He's there in Gainesville all the time, serving the good people who want to look pretty fresh. I got this nice jacket from him with the old Gator logo, one of my favorite logos. We got Dave's Freshly Used in the house. What's up, Dave? Thanks for joining the podcast again.
What's going on, man? You got my favorite logo on your sleeve.
It's my favorite logo too. I let's see this one. I got the it's a Fighting Gator logo. I guess that's what they call it, right? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, the Fine Gator,
Whatever.
Fine Albert, whatever. I call the one on your sleeve, I call that one the Running Gator. I don't think it has like an official name.
Running Gators. I like that. We'll go with that. It is my favorite one. I wish they would use that a lot more. I like the throwback 70s or 80s, the UF one. I like that a lot too.
The interlocking logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so clean. I love it.
Pretty sick.
Such a good logo.
Speaking of, I got the black jersey on. We all know what it is. The Gators are rocking black this week. At noon though. I wish it was at night, but it's at noon. These look pretty sick. I don't know.
It's criminal.
It's criminal.
These jerseys would look so nice under the lights.
I know
Under the lights,
they literally
so fresh.
installed LED lights this year. I mean, they didn't say necessarily for this, but like, come on.
And I think how this started, how I led to asking you to come on today was I commented on one of these threads and I said the Gator script should be orange. That's all. And someone disagreed with me, and then you replied, "Yes, it should." With a picture of that hat that you have on right now, that pops in black. Orange just pops on black. You can see the Jordan logo, how that just pops way better than the blue. I don't understand who's making these decisions. They need to be fired.
I honestly think after the 2017 Swamp Green jerseys, which I'm a huge fan of, I think they just have to go very, very, very conservative, and they don't want anything like popping too much, or else it'll get too much backlash from that.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Gator logos, but again, on that helmet, they just plopped the Gator head logo on there. I didn't like that either. It's like, do better with the helmets. You could put Gator skin on the helmets. Didn't even do that. I don't know.
No, I think in even the mock-ups or somewhere, I saw originally they were supposed to have the small, the old Pell logo or the circle logo, like a small decal on the back of the helmet, and they didn't end up doing that. And like everybody's been wanting that on a uniform or a helmet or something forever, and I wish they would do it again.
Yeah, there are so many.
This is where I miss like the version of the NCAA game where if you were playing a game like you can customize your jerseys. I would always go in like alternating the Gator jerseys, and I mean you didn't have the all blacks, obviously. You didn't have like the Gator skin jerseys that they wore like 4 or 5 years ago. But I felt like I always made the freshest, sweetest combinations ever. They need to put us in charge. That's basically what we're getting to.
Yeah, that's what we're getting to.
I tried asking somebody, I'm like, how do I get in the room of the people that make the decisions on the throwback jerseys? And they're like, I don't know, that's above my pay grade.
Yeah, you should be that guy. I don't know why you're not that guy. You're obviously overqualified for the job. But tell the people where you're going to be at. You're going to be in Gainesville this Saturday. I'll bring up your graphics here.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have been literally hoarding all the vintage Florida Gators black gear I can get my hands on for like the past year. It is so scarce, which I don't understand why, because everything on black just pops and looks amazing. But I'm going to be at some apartment complexes on Friday. Saturday, for I'm gonna get there as early as I can. I will be right on University across from the football stadium. Like you can throw a frisbee to me. I'll be at the Lutheran church, the stadium in my front yard. I'll be set up there before the game. I'm going to be set up during the game, and I'll probably be there after the game as well. And then Sunday, there's a whole vintage market happening at Midpoint Food Park on Second Ave or wherever it's at. And I'll be there 12 to 5. But like I said, all the black gear that I could get my hands on, which isn't a full boost worth like I normally do, but I've got some really crazy stuff I'm bringing, and my own Florida Old English hats that I made for the game that are of no relation to any universities. Just a cool Florida tourist hat.
Yeah, those are pretty sick too. I mean, I'd rock that with this jersey that I got
Thank
from
you.
China.
China.
Plug from China. Yeah, these threads are pretty sick. I like this. I like it's like the Grateful Dead Gator. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's my Dancing Gator logo. I have it on the side of the hat here. I made those shorts. Thought they would be cool for the game. I've been wanting to do some black merch.
I like it a lot, dude. And now you're here in Pensacola with me, right? Like,
Yeah.
where you're based out of? Nice.
I keep forgetting you're in Pensacola, man. We got to watch some games or something.
Yeah,
Dude,
dude.
I knew I came across your shop by World of Beer one night. It was like during gallery night. Do you do pop-ups
Oh
over there?
yeah, the before the season. Yeah. I was my buddy runs the vintage markets here in town, and I was setting up before the season, and I had a whole bunch of like old Florida Gators, knickknacks and collectibles and the stuff that I can't really bring out to the markets, but it was cool.
Awesome,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, we'll
buddy
hit you up
Cody.
next time.
Comfy Cody, yo. He's like, "What? You gotta come out here when Dave's out here." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I just don't get out. I don't get out the house as much as as much as I'd like." But
Bro, that's how I am. That was the one time I set up, and they're like, "When are you gonna come again?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm in Gainesville like every weekend. It's hard."
nice. We'll have to get together for a game we know we're gonna win. Which is not a given in the next like few
That might
weeks.
be next season.
Maybe next season. Oh, next season's even harder. We get
I
the
know.
recruiting class coming in. But yeah, we got to talk about the Georgia game a little bit. So let's go ahead and dive into some Week 9 action. We might as well start with the Gators. If you're here, drop a like and subscribe. Obviously, we're Gator first, not really Gator first podcast. We do like every team, but it was a tough week, and I need to vent a little bit. The first drive looked good. It was scripted.
I was like, we're winning this game.
I know. I was writing my parlays on the board, and my friend Joey was like, Florida scored. I was like, what? I missed it already? So I missed the best part of the game, really.
Such a fast drive.
Such a fast drive. Such a good drive. Graham Mertz looked on, but Georgia's defense caught on real quick. We even stopped them there on their first drive. Held them to a field goal. I was happy with that. I was like, if we can keep this up, boys, we might have a game. And the next drive, I believe it was the next drive, we had that short call. The referee called it.
The horrible spotting.
I think it was a terrible spot.
Terrible spot.
God awful spot. And then the play call. We got to talk about the fourth down play call. I like him going for it. I don't know if you have to get that cute with it. I think maybe that would work on some other teams, but Georgia's just way too disciplined. I think Ricky Pearsall was kind of open for maybe a second, but the Georgia defender was all in Etienne's face, so there's no way you could get him. What do you think
This
about,
one?
I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
like-
I like the aggressiveness, but it's on
So,
your own
like,
to get cute like
this,
that.
this game for me was like when they came out scoring so fast. One, I was like, okay, look, we're kind of coming off of what we did against South Carolina. We're moving the ball really well. I mean, Graham Mertz passed the ball, striking the ball down the field, scored super fast. And so my mindset was, okay, George is going to move the ball down the field too. So we are going to have to go punch for punch. It's like I felt confident that we were going to move the ball. It was all about, are we going to play defense? The answer I felt was obvious, no. And then we get up to a 7-3 start. I'm like, okay, let's get the ball down the field. Let's score again. Let's make it 14-3. Let's make this difficult. And then all of a sudden, our offense just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Offense just disappears after that first drive. There's a couple of other good drives. I was like, all right, maybe we can try and get this within striking distance, but no, Georgia was just way too tough. Their defense adjusted so quickly. After one drive, it was just night and day, the difference between that first drive and the rest of the game, and Georgia just had it from there.
Indeed.
I know you're trying to like set a tone with a big rivalry game like that. Like on your own second possession of the game, I understand going for it, 4th and inches on the 50, the 40, but it was what, our own 20? Like,
yeah, I think it was around 30. It's
yeah,
deep.
there was not a need to, and if you are, like, just do some brotherly love, man. Shove it up the middle, like, don't get cute with it, like you said.
QB sneak it.
Yeah, just QB sneak it. They were trying to
I was like,
set a
QB
tone,
sneak it.
and it was a bad tone. I mean, it was just all downhill from there. We could not recover.
Yeah, I maybe even say fake the jet sweep and then run with Etienne or Montrell right there in the A or B gap off tackle, something like that. Maybe a pin and pull like Flora's been doing, but you can't hate him for it because if Pearsall gets open and streaks down the sideline, it's a good call. But that early in the game, I don't know.
I was at Hub Stacy's watching the game with my family and my mother-in-law, and at one point, I don't think I said it too loud. I said it kind of loud, but after that play, I was like, "What the fuck?" Because at that point, I just felt like, okay, like we're trying to set momentum, we're trying to establish ourselves in this game, and it was just so early for us to just kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then it was not necessary.
Obviously, they score, and a big play. I'm not going to bring it up because it's Wednesday. Every Gator podcast I've seen has analyzed this and been all over the guy. I think it was Jalen Marshall, number 3, whoever number 3 was on Ladd McConkey's first touchdown there. Just absolutely overran him, missed a tackle, and there were 5 guys around McConkey. Should have been tackled right there at the 20. He runs in for a touchdown, and he ends up having a 135-yard game as a white wide receiver. I'm joking. It doesn't matter. He's still a great wide receiver, but with a guy named McConkey running all over you, you got to fix it.
Ladd McConkey.
Ladd McConkey's running all over you. Credit to the Georgia Bulldogs too, though. They obviously well prepared. Brock Bowers being absent did not hurt at all.
Didn't matter. It was never going to matter. No one's surprised that they were able to still move the ball without Brock Bowers. Florida's defense, I do think I actually have a lot of faith in our defensive coordinator. He's a young guy. He's literally the same age as all of us, basically. But I think the future is there. I think he's got something going for the moving forward. But Georgia definitely didn't miss Brock Bowers against this defense.
No. Yeah, young guys, and I'm no Division I football player, but I went back and watched some of the game and some of the film on it, and I watched people break it down. And whenever you're going against a team that is as talented as Georgia, as big and physical as Georgia, and you're standing straight up, and your D line, you're allowing those big hog mollies on the O line of Georgia to get up under you and do whatever they want, and you're not controlling the trenches, you're going to lose the game. And that from the very first quarter, after the Gators' first drive, that was it the whole time. That was it, and it just sucks. It just sucks. I near about flipped over the beer die table. I'll tell you what.
As much as they throttled us, I just saw today that they knocked them in the rankings down to 2.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think that was the right call, and I think that's a good segue to get into the college football playoffs. Obviously, they just released their first rankings here, and Ohio State number 1, and I released some rankings for college football extravaganza on X. If you want to go follow my ex, she's very nice. But Ohio State 1, Georgia 2, Michigan at 3. You got to ask, is that punishment for this whole sign stealing thing going on?
No,
You
I
don't
mean,
think
no,
so?
not. I don't think so. I mean, for right now, I mean, they're still investigating this. I mean, it definitely looks like a staffer went rogue, or a staffer. No, I'm not going to say rogue. A staffer went out and did what he did. I'm not going to say he went rogue. It's possible that administration or the coaching staff, other members of the coaching staff, were a part of this. John Harbaugh would ultimately probably lose his job as a result of this, but it probably doesn't matter. He's going to go to the NFL after this season, anyways.
Jim
Moving
Harbaugh?
forward, Ohio State has a stronger, has had better quality wins. They've beaten top 10 opponents, or one at least, going into this season. They've had a stronger performance. Georgia's also looked really good. I think that just based on that, it was safe to put Ohio State number 1 and Georgia 2, because ultimately you're not hurting anybody's feelings unless Georgia feels disrespected that they feel like they're the number 1 team in the nation, and you're putting them now at number 2. I don't think it really changes anything. Ultimately, at the end of the day, Georgia still has a schedule ahead of them that looks very winnable. Ohio State, I mean, they still have Michigan ahead of them. That's going to be a hell of a game. I think that when you look at strength of schedule, you look at the wins that Ohio State has had so far, I think it wasn't a surprise that they went number 1. And for Georgia, this really doesn't matter at all whether you're 1 or through 4. I think that the rest of your schedule moving forward is fairly winnable, with exception of the SEC championship. Anything can happen there. I mean, I don't think it should matter 1 or 2.
Yeah, I agree there. What do you think, Dave?
Well, back on the Michigan thing, I know it's still super early, but as bad as all this evidence is looking, if Michigan goes on to win the national championship, is it not basically guaranteed that they're going to take it away from them?
I don't think they should. If
This
they,
okay, so
okay, yeah. If
I
they
was saying
figure
this
out
one's an
that
interesting one.
Go ahead, Davis. Go ahead.
I was like, this one's an interesting one, because then it's like, okay, are you going to take away the Houston Astros World Series championship? And it literally was proven that they were cheating. The whole team was cheating, and yet they
Yeah.
got to keep their Astros. And the only one they got to keep their World Series title, and the only ones that actually suffered from it were the manager and the general manager. They lost their jobs as a result of that. And I think the other backlash from it is, if there are any potential Hall of Fame players on that team, mainly Jose Altuve and maybe Alex Bregman, like, they would probably miss out on Cooperstown. So then you go to this. I mean, both are sort of the same in a way. I mean, I would say no. At the end of the day, you still have to go out there and play football and win. And this Michigan team is a damn good team.
But we got our 1984 SEC championship taken away, and Reggie Bush lost his Heisman.
Yeah.
And USC lost their national championship. Don't forget about that.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be clear about this. I'm in no way in support of the NCAA or anything that it does as far as retroactively taking away championships and wins and coaching records and stuff like that. I mean, this is an organization that we had to pry players' rights and NIL rights out of its cold, dead hands. This is an organization that is hated by many, and by myself, second to maybe the CIA and the FBI and the military industrial complex. I cannot express to you how much I dislike the NCAA. However, I think if you have a team who is selling signals to other teams, like allegedly Michigan sold these signals to South Carolina, who'd they end up beating last year at the end? Clemson, Tennessee. These are teams that could have played Michigan in the college football playoffs. They were trying to shape the college football playoff itself, which I think the college football playoff committee should have a say in what happens there. If you're found to be selling signals and try to manipulate the system that bad, I think that you should not be in the playoff that year. I don't like all this retroactive stuff. I think that's a harsher penalty. I don't agree with death penalties or suspending programs either, because that just hurts the kids in the community, right?
Yeah,
I don't
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, well, this guy's not even on the staff anymore, so like moving forward, how does Michigan continue to play? If they continue to kick ass, like was this guy really contributing to the program? I mean, this guy wrote apparently a 500-page manifesto at some point, and manifestos. Anyone that's ever written a manifesto ever in the history of time usually doesn't have the greatest record behind them.
I mean, I'll write a manifesto. If I write a manifesto about Florida Gator football, I mean, I feel like I helped the team get to a college football playoff. I think that'd be fine.
I think that Michigan, what matters right now is you just got to continue to play. And I'm with you. I would hate it if Michigan goes on and finishes the season. Let's say they win a national title, and then like a year from now, the NCAA comes back and they're like, "Yeah, that didn't count. It's not theirs anymore. We're gonna leave that one vacant." Oh, so the players weren't on the field and they didn't go out there and work their ass off the whole season to go out there and win. I do have a big problem with it, especially when you're doing it retroactively. I'm with you. If you're gonna punish them now. Just go ahead and punish them now.
This shit is going deep, though. I mean, Jim McElwain had ties with the
Russian mafia.
Yeah, with the Russian mafia, Sharks. Don't forget about Sharks. He had ties with Sharks and the Michigan Wolverines and University of Michigan there, along with some other assistant coach. This is what people are sharing now. Central Michigan, this guy, Connor Stallion, allegedly. I don't know if it's the same guy. Could be a different guy. Wearing sunglasses at night. Apparently, allegedly, they're seeing blue lights. And here's what Jim McElwain had to say about it.
Of picture floating around with the sign stealer guy. Our people are doing everything they can to get to the bottom of it. We're totally unaware of it. I certainly don't condone it in any way, shape, or form. And I do know that his name was on none of the passes that were let out. Now we just keep tracing it back and try to figure it out. But it's in good hands with our people. And again, there's no place in football for that.
Could have done without the music there, honestly. But Jim McElwain, obviously, I don't know. If I want to go to a Chippewas game, I guess I'll just show up on the sideline.
So 2 points to that. One, every white guy with a beard looks exactly the same. That could just be some other white guy with a beard that happens to look like him.
Yeah, we're pretty much there. We just got to do the.
That's what I'm saying. If I put on some sunglasses, people wouldn't be able to tell us apart. Second all, I know I brought it up, but on the opposite side of it, sign stealing is such a stupid penalty or illegal thing in my book because the signs aren't a secret. They're all up during the game. Anybody can see them. Any fan or any person in the stadium can look at them. They're right there. They can take a picture. It's not like this dude was, as far as we know, going into their locker room and like stealing books of their, plays. This is all stuff that's just out on the sideline. And why is it illegal to make note of that? I've never understood that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the reasoning behind making it illegal to send staff to other universities to gather is because some of these more, I guess, the bigger universities and the ones with the deep pockets would be able to send more staff to more games, and they would be able to do it more so than these smaller teams, which makes a little bit of sense. But
that part I can get. But what about at your own stadium? You just have to pretend like you don't see it.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And definitely you should be able to steal signs. You should be able to try to figure out what the other team's trying to call. I mean, that gives you a major advantage. But selling it to other teams, to me, that's kind of dirty. If that's true, and somehow South Carolina got real fucking good at the end of last season. And we were all like, whoa, whoa, they're good now. And then they came back this season. We're like, they're going to beat North Carolina. And then Matt Brown and a very okay North Carolina team said, no, you're not. So I don't know. Did something happen?
But isn't South Carolina supposed to be good every year and then they're not?
Yeah, that's true. Just like the Gators and my Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Joey, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with the free markets, whatever, pay your staff whatever the price to send them wherever to catch these signals. But then selling it to other teams, I feel like that is some sort of dirty, slimy nastiness that goes on in college football that's getting brought to light right now. I don't know. Is that
Yeah.
okay? Do you think that's okay to send? Because like, what
No, I think that's pretty messed up.
if Florida gets caught doing this? First of all, why are we losing so much? Second off, it's just going to
Rebuilding
make
year.
us look bad.
Yeah, I don't know. That's like, I don't know. I think every university does things that are slightly questionable. It's just when they decide whose turn it is to kind of make a example of them. So that's like my worst nightmare is, they choose us and they're like, hey, Gators have been doing, some shady recruiting stuff. I mean, look at all these great recruits we got this year. So that's kind of my biggest fear. We have we have a pretty good class for next year if they put the pen to paper.
Right. Yeah. I mean, number 3 class right now, and just got McCray. I think it's LJ. Is it LJ McCray or LT McCray? I can't remember his first name, but he committed to Florida, took him away from Georgia. So that's huge. Another 5-star. But let's get on into. I know we brought this up before the podcast. The Florida Georgia game is traditionally played in Jacksonville. Pre-game, the sod was thanks Joey LJ McCray. Thank you. The sod was not down all the way, and players were having a bunch of issues with it in the game or in the pregame. And Shamar James ended up injuring himself. He's now out for the season for this Arkansas game coming up. And we also got a couple other guys out. Cam Jackson and Tyreek Sapp are questionable. So that's huge for the defense. That's 3 starters on the defense that are now out, 2 on the defensive line. And, you got an Arkansas team it's not a guaranteed win. You got KJ Jefferson coming in. He's mobile. You're going to need some guys to chase him down. That's not a good look for the Gators if we're not going to have those guys.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, these are. I don't know. Like I mean, we were talking about it beforehand. Like it was just frustrating. Obviously, you hate it when someone goes down in like a non-contact manner, and then you lose that person for the rest of the year, and you blame it on the field, the sod. I mean, that stadium is. I mean, we've been to that stadium. It's a piece of work. It's not a great stadium. It's about to undergo a massive, massive renovation that's apparently going to cost like over $1 billion. Which why not just build a new stadium at that point if you're entering the billions? I think it's because they like the location. I think it's because the location is probably as good as it's going to get.
This is what I was getting to. I think Dave's freshly used down here. We want to see a home and home series for the Florida Georgia game.
I will give my hard pitch right now. The Florida Georgia game, everybody has great memories of it. My grandfather's grandfather has been going to that. I've been going since I was a child.
Davis.
Does it sound weird on your end?
Yeah, figure it out. I kicked him out for a second. Davis, okay. You can still hear us. Yeah, we started sounding Alvin and the Chipmunky right after Devin in here told us don't let Down syndrome hold us back. I never let my Down syndrome hold me back, Devin. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm fully for the home and home. I want to go to Athens.
Yeah, no, like I said, it has great history. It's been going on since the questionable 1914 or 1904, whenever they argue it started. It's a great tradition, but it's just extremely overhyped. It's one of our biggest games of the year, and from a small business owner, why are we going to stimulate Jacksonville's economy, which I'm sorry, Duval County, but I don't like Jacksonville. Why are we helping Jacksonville out?
I echo that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Duval. I'm gonna get a lot of unfollowers from this, but it's a horrible place. And nobody goes there for the game atmosphere. If you've actually gone from your tailgate into the game atmosphere is horrible. You don't have any of your normal traditions. The music is different. Like, it's just not good.
They
I
didn't
wanna
sell
go-
alcohol in the stadium either when we went. I don't know if that's
Really?
changed. They didn't sell alcohol at the time.
They definitely
Yeah.
do. They definitely do at the sports game or at the pro games.
Okay.
They do at the
well,
pro
maybe
games,
it's
but
different
like
for
when
college.
it was 2018 when we went, because it was college, they didn't sell any alcohol, which was a bummer.
There's like a suicide in the parking garage next door. Or
Oh, there
after the
was.
game, like right when we went. That was insane.
They were
Like-
real bummed about the Gators losing.
Yeah, but honestly, people like the game for what goes on outside of the game more. It's the world's largest cocktail party. I get it. It's cool, whatever. But the game sucks. Like, make it home and away. I want to go to Athens. I want to destroy I want to destroy Georgia there. I don't know.
See,
I don't like Florida, Georgia.
I don't like.
And
don't
the
like-
field is a perfect example. Why are we letting their groundskeepers maintain it? Like, I don't know. Whatever. That's my.
well, it's like Alabama and Auburn used to be at the Iron Bowl every year, and now it's played home and home. It's a home and
Oh,
home
yeah.
series.
in Birmingham, right?
Yeah, in Birmingham. Like, see, I am a fan of colleges playing a rival in a neutral location, and Jacksonville. Even though I'm with you, Jacksonville, if it fell into the sea, I wouldn't miss it at all. But I mean, obviously, I have some good friends from Jacksonville. I have a family friend that lives over in Sawgrass. Don't touch that area. Sawgrass is awesome. You can keep Sawgrass. Jacksonville Beach is fine, but Jacksonville itself is a shithole. And I'm with you. If I lose followers as a result of that, whatever followers I do have, go ahead, go away, because Jacksonville sucks.
Their
So
PR,
find
guy,
it-
they're like,
so-
Public County PR guy is going to come after you. He's going to be like, Scambia's County PR guy's talking shit about Duval.
I'm getting blacklisted from there right now. They're like, never hire this guy.
Yeah.
So don't worry, I'm never going to work there. So like, find the game somewhere else. And guess what? They're going to eventually, because when they renovate the stadium, they're talking about playing a game if it's a home game for Georgia, play it in Atlanta. If it's a home game for Florida, play it in Orlando or Tampa, probably Orlando, and do it that way. And I am a fan. Also, the NCAA and the schools are a fan, because that's more revenue for them. Apparently, the revenue share is more money.
Wrong.
Don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Dude, the schools want the revenue share, obviously. I think they get like, what, $5 million a piece? I might be over exaggerating that number. But
They
they
get a
want
lot
the money. They do want the neutral zone. I just keep it out of Jacksonville.
They get a lot more for home and home. Best believe.
All
right, all right.
Daytona, and I heard that they're thinking about putting it at the Daytona 500 Speedway, which would be kind of cool.
That would be really cool. I would go to that.
That'd be
That
dope.
would be cool.
That'd be a big ass game.
I'm gonna overrule this. We gotta I love talking about my Gators. We gotta get into these picks here. So we're 30 minutes in. It happens.
Yeah, I know my
Ohio
wife's
State-
asleep by now, I bet.
Ohio State walks into Camp Randall and walks away unscathed with a 24-10 win. Kyle McCord throws for 226 yards and finds Marvin Harrison for another 123 yards. And this game was 10-10 at one point. Ohio State was up 10, and then Wisconsin came back and tied it up. But Ohio State continuing to show resolve and gets the dub there. I didn't get to see much of this game. Davis, did you catch?
I didn't watch any of it.
Nice. Of course, as always, great analyzation by our team. Florida State continues to be undefeated. They go into Wake Forest and face that weird slow mesh offense of the Demon Deacons, and they put it away. Jordan Travis threw for 359 yards. Trey Benson, that man got shot out of a cannon so many times that he's got ash marks all over his body. He's fast. He's so fast. He's got breakaway speed. Florida State wins 41-16. And Florida State fans are a little upset right now with the top 25 that came out. They said, we're number 4. That's fine. And if I'm Florida State, I'm saying, look, Ohio State or Michigan, one of them's losing. So you're going to go up at least one notch. But if you're going off resume, Florida State does have victories over then ranked Duke, which you can argue, hey, you were losing to the starting quarterback with one leg, and then he got out, and then he pulled away. But they still won that one, and they got a victory over LSU in week 1. And so,
Yeah.
I think you got to take that into account in their
I
resume.
mean, they almost lost to Boston College.
Right, but
Yeah,
that's what
and
everyone
Clemson.
points out. That's what
And
everyone
Clemson.
points out.
Duke
Yeah,
was interesting.
I'm not saying that Florida State didn't have the close call against Boston College, but that was red bandana week. It,
Duke Wells.
yeah. So I think I don't know, man. This Florida State team's I do want to see them play someone else. The problem is they got Miami. They got Pittsburgh this week, but then they got Miami and Florida at the end, and then they have like a nobody before Florida. So we're not going to be able to see it until the ACC championship, in which you're facing some team that's going to hobble in because North Carolina can't figure their shit out. They're on 3 straight losses. Just lost to Georgia Tech as a ranked team, and then Louisville is starting to come out of nowhere. Even Virginia Tech's still in the mix. If Virginia Tech pulls off a couple wins, they could be in there with how the ACC championship's set up right now. So I don't know. I think Florida State's going to walk into the college football playoff, much like it did in 2014.
I'm holding out for that random disappointing upset, kind of like when Miami was undefeated going into Pittsburgh back in 2017, and Pittsburgh had like 4 wins, and then they upset them. I'm waiting for that to happen. I don't know why. I kind of don't want it to happen. I don't mind seeing Florida State succeed. I really don't. But I have this small part of me that just feels like it's going to happen.
I don't want
Maybe in Gainesville.
I don't want them sniffing a national championship, though. Don't want it.
If it comes down to Florida State and Georgia, I might just end it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'd do then.
Florida State Georgia in the Natty is just ultimate demise for all Florida fans. That's when you look at Billy and you go, hey, next year's got to be the year. You got 2 rivals. In Tennessee last year, they were sniffing the Natty. LSU's won in 2019. All your rivals, besides maybe Miami, but Florida doesn't play Miami that much anymore.
It's like once every 5 years.
Yeah. They play them next year. So definitely beat Miami next year. But yeah, I don't know. I think barring an upset, Florida State controls its own destiny. And they have an offense that has a lot of weapons on the perimeter, and their running back and Jordan Travis, obviously hard to tackle. The defense, still a little suspect, other than the LSU game. And that's week 1 LSU. I think LSU's got a lot better, and we'll have to see. Any other thoughts on FSU? I know we got FSU fans in the chat.
I mean, as much as I hate Miami, I mean, or anything can happen in a rivalry game. I mean, that's aside from us, their biggest rivalry game probably. Like,
definitely.
I mean, anything can happen in that game. I think FSU will win, but I think it'll probably be close. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be at Doak at night. It's gonna be a great atmosphere. I kind of want to sneak over to that game. That'd be fun. That'd be a fun atmosphere to go. Do you ever been at Doak in Doak at night?
I was at the Gator game last year. That was my first game.
Oof.
Dude, it was awesome.
What a game.
We were so
What
close.
a game.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
What a game.
Those rivalry games, we were right there.
I was in Italy trying to board a flight while watching that game. That was tough.
Ooh.
It was 2:30 in the morning over there.
At least you got to drown that loss with fine wine. That's fine Italian wine.
No, I drowned that loss with 24 hours of travel.
Oh, shit. Never
So
mind.
it was just insult to injury after that.
There you go. All right. Washington goes to Stanford, and Michael Penix throws for 369 yards, but they squeak away with a 42-33 victory. Stanford was in this game, and Washington needs to stop playing around. Washington's playing around. I don't know.
It's not screwing around.
They are. I thought this team was probably in the top 4. Like, I would have them. I would probably leapfrog them over Michigan and put them in my top 4. because I think they played the best. They've played and defeated the best team out of anyone, and they're still undefeated in Oregon, right? That game, I think that's the best win out of any team in the country right now. Yet they play around with Stanford. They played around with, I think it was Arizona State. They're gonna mess around and get upset one of these games, and they got a tough USC game coming up in the next week. I don't know. Any thoughts on Washington, Davis?
I mean, I love Michael Penix. I do. I love this team. I know they have a very tough matchup coming up this week that I was so back and forth on. I want to see their defense continue to try and excel. Michael Penix. I think he's doing the job. He's one of my guys for the Heisman right now. I think he's been so consistent. I want them to going into this next week and just shit pump USC, and
Yeah.
we'll get into it because I'm not sure. But like I want to see more consistency. I want to see defensively them step up because I think Penix is putting it all on his shoulders right now, and he is also keep in mind he's like injury prone. He is injury prone. This guy's had 2 season-ending injuries, and knock on wood, don't want it to happen again. But like protect this guy at all cost. Let him continue to do his thing, but defense, do your damn job too while you're at it.
Yeah, Justin's too busy writing Penix. That's why he's not here right now.
You should have had the clip of the guy going, "Big Penix energy, big Penix energy."
We're working on the Desmond Howard. It's definitely going to be a soundbite in the near future because he is for sure saying penis in that clip.
Yeah.
And he's from Tampa, by the way. He's a Tampa guy.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
didn't
way
know
to
that.
start. That's a good way to start. Your day. You wake up to college game day and you see what's Desmond Howard doing today? Yelling big Penix energy at 5 a.m. Mountain Time or what Pacific time, whatever time that is over there. But
Love it.
moving on. Washington's they got to pick it up, man, especially here in the late Pac-12 schedule. Oklahoma.
Normally, I hate Oklahoma, but my cousin, she's a freshman. She's actually on the color guard team there, so I was like, that'd be pretty cool if she got to go to like a national championship or something. So,
well,
but they lost.
She will not get to go to a national championship. Kansas ruined those hopes for at least for this year. And I was watching this game. This was a good game down to the end. You knew going into it that Kansas had some vigor about them. You knew going into it that Oklahoma was suspect and they could keep these games close. They were close against UCF, almost lost that game. They go into a Kansas team who was ready, and Bean ran all over them. Joey Clark said he runs fast, just as fast as Beans go through his system. That was really funny. And then they stormed the field, and I wanted to bring this clip up because all these field stormings are going on, and these poor reactions by some of the players. They're assaulting these poor kids who are. I don't even want to call them poor kids because these kids are kind of asking for it by getting in their faces with signs and phones and recording them. But I just want to say this Bunkley Shelton with a good discipline moment, just as the Sooners Insider says right here. It would take everything I would have not to just punch that kid. That's what do we do about this?
No, so that's the kind of guy though that would do that, knowing that if the football player responds, he's the one that's in trouble. Like this guy's not getting in trouble. Maybe he got in trouble afterwards. Who knows? I doubt it. Like, but if that player responds, that player's in trouble, and that other guy would probably walk away like a pussy. Like he's only doing that because he knows that guy can't do anything, and if he does, he's gonna get in trouble. That guy would never, ever do that outside the stadium. He would not do that outside the stadium because he would get his ass kicked, and he knows that.
Yeah,
like he's in the moment. He's probably a little drunk. There's no place in that in sports. I mean, and I don't normally say that, but that stuff is stupid.
No, like rushing the field is magical. They show the clips every year of people doing it, but like it's just bad. Only bad things come of it. People end up getting injured. Stuff like that happens. People yelling stuff at the players. Like you're just asking for a bad time. Like they should just ban it like they do in the SEC and just I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing is, I love it. Just don't let idiots like that ruin it for everybody else. Because I think most people are trying to storm the field and have a good time. Like, don't let idiots like that ruin it for everybody else. And also, for anyone that's watching, like, don't be that guy. Don't if you want to keep storming the field, then don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Or do, and then have this get posted, and you look like the asshole, right? Like Bunkley did a great job. If I can call you Bunkley, you did a great job, and I hope other players take notes. And that's just kind of how you have to deal with that, you know. And he was smiling. I'm sure you got to laugh at yourself too if you walk into Kansas as a top 10 team and come out with a loss. You kind of have to laugh at yourself a little bit, Oklahoma.
Shout out to Kansas though, taking that goalpost and throwing it into a lake.
Throwing into like that's the best move.
That's
what you
pretty
do.
legendary, though.
Yeah, that was awesome. Apparently, it's a tradition. They don't get to do it that often there. So there's like 2 or 3 goalposts there from like 1926.
Oh, they just leave it in the water?
I don't know. I'm just making it
Oh,
up.
I was
It probably
what?
turn. Well, it's a lake. I was gonna say like it probably turns into like an oyster reef or something, but I know it's a lake. So
Oyster reef, yes.
highly
Kansas-
doubted. Highly
Kansas
doubtful.
oyster reef. Those oysters were needing new goalposts.
You can tell me any made-up traditions from another college, and I'll be like, "Really?"
Yeah, if I make anything else up, it'll be involving goalposts and a lake. Some more Big 12 action. Texas gets the job done with Malik Murphy against the the Cougars of BYU, 35-6. Keaton Slovis throws for the high though for BYU for 197. So Texas kind of moving more towards run the ball and being a more balanced team without Quinn Ewers, and hopefully can sustain some victories here. I got nothing much on this game. I didn't get to watch much of it because I was watching the Florida-Georgia game, unfortunately. But Texas proving that it can be efficient and put up some points without their starter.
I heard a take earlier today that Malik Murphy is playing for the transfer portal because they're saying that Malik Murphy he's older than Arch Manning, by the way. Like he's like a year older, but he's a redshirt freshman. They're thinking that Malik Murphy is playing, hoping to transfer after this year because the idea is that Arch Manning is going to be the starting quarterback when Quinn Ewers leaves.
I heard that take as well, and I don't think it's a bad take. And I think it's a good way to, motivate yourself if you want to play good. Even if the team knows that, and if the coach says, "Hey, Arch is our guy going forward next year, or Quinn's our guy going forward," you're probably not going to start. This is Malik's time to show what he's got and win some games. I agree. Yeah, I like that take a lot. I forgot who said it. I don't think it was Brandon Walker. I think it might have been like Chip Patterson or someone from the Cover 3 podcast. I like listening to them. Oregon and Utah. Oregon just absolutely went into Utah, did not care about Rice-Eccles Stadium in that streak they had. They broke it. Bo Nix, absolutely insane, throws for 250 yards. Bucky Irving runs for 83 yards. Again, there was like over-unders prop bets on like Bucky Irving's rushing. It's always hovering around 80, and he's like 4 for 5 on these prop bets over 80 yards. I might be wrong about that, but I'm somewhere in the correct circle. I'm like kind of I don't know. I'm a big Bucky Irving guy. I like him. But that's a big win. That's a big win for Oregon, and they're going on moment. At this point, I would put Oregon in my power rankings over Washington with how they're looking.
I would keep them very close, kind of like when they played each other and they were like 7 and 8 respectively. I would keep Oregon just behind Washington for the simple fact that Washington is still undefeated and that Washington beat Oregon. They're responsible for that lone loss. So just in that alone, but if those two teams played each other again, you might see a different result, especially based on how Washington has been playing.
Agreed. Moving on, we'll stay in the Pac-12. USC beats Cal 50-49. California went for 2. They didn't get it. I would say it was a barn burning, but people might protest in the middle of the field like they did in this game. they get
Oh,
offended.
only at Berkeley. Only at Berkeley.
I wish that game was played in Alabama. I wish they would have done that somewhere in the South. They would have. I don't even know what the protest was about, but get the hell off the field.
I
No
think it
one
was
cares.
over the war in Israel and Palestine.
Well, that's kind of important.
Backtrack.
Maybe let them protest a little bit. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, but it's like again,
Steve-
like all sports protests, but only in Berkeley are you gonna have a protest in the middle of the field. Only in Berkeley.
yeah, I thought it was for like bathrooms or something, like they usually do. My bad. But yeah, USC hobbled to a victory here, and impressive showing by Cal. They're not a bad team, man. Other than that loss to Auburn early in the season, and Cal has a game coming up here. I think it's who are they playing? We'll see who they're playing this week. I know it's one of the games we got to talk about. But yeah, I just thought that was a funny line, getting offended. But if they're was it really about the war?
I think it was. I mean, we can go back and look at it. I'll look it up right now just to make sure.
Okay.
But,
Hopefully
You're canceled.
I know. Three people cancel me, please. Anyway, Kentucky loses to Tennessee. And
quick interruption. Hey, quick interruption.
Yeah.
It was over the reinstatement of a suspended professor.
Oh, see, it didn't matter.
Now, I don't know why the professor was suspended.
It was probably for like Israel Palestine.
I was gonna say he was fighting in the war.
Yeah. He was bringing aid to Gaza for the Palestinians.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, I don't know, dude. All right. Anyway, Kentucky loses to Tennessee at Tennessee. And I just found this radio clip on Twitter. Kentucky's sick of losing to Tennessee. You know what? Maybe you shouldn't put all your marbles in the basket against Florida and balance out your wins a little bit, Kentucky. But this was pretty funny. I hate that it's small screen, but listen to him.
Getting all these interceptions. The Joe Milton catastrophic mistake never happened. It's the first time in his life that it hasn't happened. And now we're stuck here. Mark Stoops is 2-9 against this team. And to walk around this place before the game, I was disgusted. The smugness of those guys just walking around like, we're going to walk in here, we're going to kick your ass, and you can't do anything about it. And it made me sick. And you know what? They did it. They still did it. What the hell? Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange colors, and their stupid song, and their woo, get their woo on out of here. Getting all these.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear this guy prior to them beating us in 2018 or whatever. I want to see feeling then.
Yeah, I want to hear him after that 2017. I think it was like wide open wide receiver in the end zone. I think Freddie Swain was twice just erroneously open and lost. But yeah, and we won the game. There was several times where the Kentucky streak should have been broken for the Gators, but. I just thought that was a funny take. He's all hung up on Tennessee. Now that they're over the Florida hump, they can't get over this Tennessee hump. And you know what? It makes me so happy. Kentucky, I hate Kentucky now. I hate Kentucky more than Tennessee now. It makes me so mad.
I hate Kentucky.
Because they ruined the season so early on. They ruined it before Tennessee. Well, no. Yeah.
No, we played Tennessee first.
We played Tennessee first? Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Somehow we just got it against Tennessee this year. But that cues our Kentucky yes soundbite.
Kentucky, yes.
There you go. Kentucky, no, you lost again. I love shitting on Kentucky. It is one of my
I miss the days of the guaranteed win.
I know. I was there in 2019, I guess, with
was it when Franks went down?
Yeah, when Franks went down and Kyle Trask had to step in, and Kentucky fans were hospitable before the game. They gave me drinks, sat me at a tailgate. One of the same guys that invited me to the tailgate was like sitting a couple rows up from the stadium, and they were talking shit the whole game. And then when Florida pulls off the victory in the last 2 minutes, I'm sitting there celebrating. I'm like, go home. bye, go home. He was about to fight me. I was about to get jumped, and I was wearing very tight pants. It wouldn't have been a good time in Lexington, but we walked away with a victory and with our lives uninjured, so that's good. All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, moving on. I think I got to cover this cuz this is just how soft the sport's getting right now. Colorado loses to UCLA, but it was a pretty close game. I think it was 26-17. Shiloh Sanders gets ejected from the game for this hit. What do you guys think about this?
He is out of the game.
Yeah. Bill, I know he's excited about this hit, but in the new rules that we've been dealing with for the last 5 or 6 years, this is,
I don't know.
What do you think of that one?
He did come in with the crowd.
So
like
he
a
hits him in his
textbook
shoulder,
clean hit?
hits him in this area or something like that. It was no helmet to helmet contact. It was shoulder against barely the other guy's shoulder. Where was the targeting?
Yep.
He even pulled his helmet away. It was all shoulder, or it was all
It was the
arm.
cleanest hit I'd seen all year.
I think so too. I think it was clean. I think it's terrible the state of football and what we're having to go through as fans, and even the players. They can't really play that much. And then after the game, they had their shit stolen from the locker room.
I saw it. Was horrible.
That's terrible. That's insane. And they got chains and all that. It's Colorado, man. So they were targeted. Speaking of targeting, they got targeted for robbery.
Yeah, and I know Dion's wanting the Pac-10 and
The
the
Rose
Rose
Bowl.
Bowl to reimburse these players. I don't know if the Pac-10 is going to do anything about it, but the Rose Bowl ought to. They had an obligation to provide at least some security to these guys' shit, and they didn't. They apparently people were able to go in there and steal it.
I agree. Or at least cameras. You got cameras. Take a look at who was stealing it.
Yeah, there's no cameras outside of it. Do they just it's just an open room where anybody can walk in? I know. I saw that was ridiculous. In all the comments, people are like, "Oh, well, why are they bringing all this stuff anyways?" Well, why are people stealing anyways? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no. Obviously, find whoever did it, and if they're gonna try and sell it online, that's a dumb move because a lot of that stuff look custom made, numbers and whatnot. They're gonna know it's theirs. And for the Rose Bowl, that you got to have adequate security, adequate cameras and stuff. If not, it's kind of negligent, if you ask me. But yeah, that sucks for Colorado. They get another L on the board, and they go on to still a tough Pac-12 schedule. UCLA gets another one. UCLA is a good team. They just need to beat an Oregon. They need to beat a Washington or someone like that to hop up and get that extra step. I don't know if that's going to happen for them. We'll see. All right. One last thing from week 9, and we'll get right into week 10. Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers, the Clemson faithful, spoiled rotten, god-awful fans.
Just remember 10 years ago, guys. Just humble yourselves. Remember 10 years ago.
Yeah, you just won a national championship this decade. You won 2 this decade. You're spoiled. And this is the guy that did it for you. And now just because he doesn't want to use the transfer portal right away, you're gonna get upset. This caller called in to Dabo Swinney's call-in show, and Dabo had about a 5-minute rant against him. So let's see.
Why are we paying you $11.5 million to go 4-4? And it's not just this year. It's been just the refusal to accept.
What's his last name? Tyler.
He said, "All right, hold on now, motherfucker." Tyler. Hey, hold on, Tyler.
Hey, Tyler, I've listened to enough of you. Tyler, you can have all your opinions that you want. Right? I don't know how old you are. Don't really care.
Don't give a fuck.
Right? Let me tell you something. We won 11 games last year, and you're part of the problem, to be honest with you, because that is part of the problem. It's people like you that all you do is the appreciation, the expectation is greater than the appreciation, and that's the problem. And so, we've won 12 10-plus win seasons in a row. That's happened 3 times in 150 years. So if you want to know why, Clemson ain't sniffed a national championship for 35 years. We've won 2 in 7 years, and there's only
Yeah, Tyler.
There's only 2 other teams that can say that: Alabama and Georgia. I mean, I'm glad he did it. He even said the word "ass" a few times.
He did say ass.
Shout out
Dabo
to
said
him,
ass.
man. He's dropping the ass bomb.
He might be dropping ass bombs and getting in the portal. You never know.
I would be okay with a couple winless seasons if we could have 2 national championships in the past 7 seasons.
Yeah, at least you can lean on that. You can still talk shit and be like, all right, well, at least we won some titles recently.
Hell, if we could beat Georgia, Florida State, and Tennessee one year, that'd be cool.
That'd be
all in
really
one
cool.
year. That'd be
That'd
awesome.
be neat.
I'd take that all day. Yeah, man. I don't know. You're so ungrateful now. I think Dabo's right. I'm on Dabo's side on this one. He should go after these fans. I'm in full support. He said he'll go somewhere else if they're not grateful, and he will.
Well, he also told the guy, "Hey, apply for the job."
Yeah.
Apply. I was like, all right, there you go. Like, tell this guy to do the job. Like, and then also, like, how would you react? Because one, yeah, you're not going to do the job. You're not qualified to do the job. You never would ever even get close to sniffing the jockstrap of a player on that sideline. So, like, go ahead. As a fan, I think you're entitled to talk shit. Okay, I'm a fan. I talk shit every now and then. We talk shit on this podcast every now and then. It's like, but at the end of the day, you're calling into a radio show and you're going to give your piece. That coach gave it right back to him, deservedly so, gave it right back to you, and then fired the whole, you do the job. And we all know how it ends. You can't do the job, obviously. So I'm glad Dabo stuck up for the team. But dude, like, and you're allowed a bad year, right? You're allowed to have a bad year. You're allowed to have a rebuilding year. He's got to do it next year. He's got to he needs to rebound next year.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't have to be like a national championship or even a playoff, but like he needs to have a good year next year.
Yeah, and if you want to rebound quick, you got to hit the portal. And I don't think he's gonna, and we'll see what happens there. But that's when you start talking and go, you got to conform with the times. But he's running a program. He's built that program from the ground up, brick by brick. So I don't know. If you're a Clemson fan, I feel like you got to stick with him. And I don't know. I don't know, man. The transfer portal is a hard one to get over for me.
If they didn't have a college kicker, they would have beat FSU, right?
Right.
Wasn't that the game?
I think so.
Oh yeah, where they had that one guy who was on the team for like 5 years, and then he wasn't on the team. Then he got brought back onto the team.
Yeah. Yeah. The announcer.
Like, oh hey, this guy still goes to school here. We should bring him back.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna bring us to close. We got to close the week 9. Sometimes I think we should do like a week 9 podcast react and then week 10 separate, but we try and fit it all in one. That's how we're gonna do it for now. But that's gonna bring us to week 10 picks and locks, everyone. It's that time. It's a good week.
With that, I'll probably leave you because that's beyond me.
That's fine. Thank you for joining us. And I'm driving down Saturday, I think Saturday morning. So if you're set up early, I might try and swing by. I got to go to Orlando.
Yeah, I'm going to be set up really early. And you said you're not going to be there for the game?
No, I'm not going to be there for the game. I got to be in Orlando. I'm tabling an event down there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be trying to set up by like 7 a.m. Swing through, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll definitely be still on the road before Yainesville. So that'd be a good little stop. That's a nice little stretch my legs. Maybe get some gear.
Yeah, some black gear.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, Dave.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Have a good one.
Go Gator.
Yeah, go Gators, man. All right. Week 10, Davis. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm excited again for another week of good college football here. And we got games on tonight, actually, but it looks like those are over already. Oh well. Let's see. No. What's today? Today's Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah, they're not over yet. Bowling Green. Yeah, Bowling Green, Akron. Nice. All right. Some action. Thursday night games. TCU at Texas Tech. I don't really care too much.
I don't care.
Wake Forest, Duke. South Alabama, Troy. That's in our neck of the woods. Talk about a game. If you wanted to take your old lady to one, you're not doing anything. You could hop up to Troy and watch South
I
Alabama.
promise you, Amanda would not want to do that. She's
That'd
like,
be-
fuck no.
or you could go to Wyoming. Wyoming's playing Colorado State there in
I'd go
Laramie.
to Wyoming just to go to Wyoming. That'd be
That's
cool.
what I'm saying. That'd be cool. Boston College at Syracuse. That's a tough Boston College team. These FSU fans would have you believe. Let's see what they do against Syracuse on Friday. But getting to the meat of the matter, Ohio State goes to Rutgers at 11 a.m. Is this a trap game?
No, no. In fact, I have Ohio State covering. It's 18.5 right now. For Ohio State, it's an early kickoff game. It is on CBS. CBS is showing 3 games this Saturday. By the way, they're going to be busy. That production crew is going to be busy on Saturday. I have Ohio State covering this game. No, but respect to Rutgers though, 2-loss team. Greg Schiano's still their coach, right? Like he's back. He's been their coach for a few years now. He's done good things with Rutgers, but this Ohio State team, I think, is starting to hit some stride. I'm going to stick with this team, locking it in at 18.5. I think that's probably the wildest pick I have because I do still kind of respect Rutgers.
Yeah,
But Ohio State 18.5, lock it in.
you're locked in. I knew you were locked in there. I think Ohio State does get the victory here, and I'm kind of with you. I wouldn't be surprised if they did cover by a lot. Kyle McCord's kind of figuring out, okay, I got the best wide receiver in the country to throw to, so we're good there.
Maserati, was it Maserati Marv?
That's a good name. I like that name. Is that what's going around? Is that his new nickname?
That's what
Marv?
Gus Johnson calls him. That's what Gus Johnson from Fox calls him.
He's about to get NIL deal with Maserati. That's going to be one of the best.
And Gus needs one too, because I think he's the only one that's called him that.
Gus has had some awesome calls. You having barbecue? You didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings. Yeah, that's awesome call. I love. He's one of my favorite commentators of all time.
He gets so excited. Excited.
You listen to some of these and I don't blame him sometimes for being lackluster, but you ever hear calls from like D2 football games where and the pass is up and it's a touchdown for North Dakota Central State Western University. It's like,
it's like
boring.
Billy Bob, who was a fan in the stands the year before, has said, you know what? I could call the games for you. Mm-hmm. That's literally the case at some of these schools.
It's like there's a touchdown, and my wife just texted me telling me she wanted a divorce. So we're ahead.
I saw this one coming.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Kansas State goes to Texas. Texas with Malik Murphy. Kansas State's kind of on a, I guess you could call it a hot streak. They just lost to Oklahoma State. This one for me is too close to call. I think Texas is favored -4 here. I don't like this one. I think Texas gets the win, but also I could see a world where Kansas State upsets them, man.
I do too. I'm thinking Kansas State is going to put some points on the board. I'm thinking Texas will put some points on the board too. And I look at that at 49.5, and I'm thinking, you know what? Because I think Kansas State has they have the ability to upset Texas. Not saying it's going to happen, and I hope it doesn't happen. I've been saying for like 3 years that I've been wanting Texas to finally be back. So I want Texas to win, but I think Kansas State's going to put points on the board. That's why I think the over is going to hit, and I'm locking that in too. Back to back, we're locking it in.
I like that lock. I do like the lock. I think you'll hit it. I think you'll hit it there. I think we all went 3-2 last week in our locks, and very close to going 4-1 each. So,
I had one that slipped out of my hands, but it's okay.
And we all went in on that Oregon Utah over, which did not hit. Which looking back at it, it was probably not a smart idea to go with the over, but who cares? Anyway,
we move on.
Who cares?
Yeah, we'll move on. All right. Ole Miss hosting Texas A&M. Ole Miss, apparently top 10 college football playoff rankings. They kind of need to watch out here for this Texas A&M team. This is a dangerous game for Ole Miss right here.
I've been saying it for a few weeks. I mean, this is a better team when you have Oh God, when you have Max Johnson as their quarterback, Texas A&M I think is a better team when Max Johnson is their quarterback. You know, his dad famously was a backup at Florida State. His dad was a backup for a long time in the NFL, and then led the Buccaneers to a Super Bowl. So this team, Max Johnson, it's like he plays better when he has to come off the bench and lead this team to victory, and he's done that. He's done exactly that. And you know what? I think Ole Miss is going to win this game. I keep forgetting that Ole Miss is as good as they are. They're like the sleepiest top 10 team, in my opinion. The sleepiest top 10 team.
They're
I
like
keep
Joe
forgetting
Biden.
that they're there.
They're like Joe Biden.
Like Sleepy Ole. Sleepy Ole Miss.
Sleepy Ole Miss. Yeah.
I think Ole Miss though is going to win this game, but that's just it. Like I keep forgetting about Ole Miss to where I can't bet on them now. I gotta let them keep doing their thing.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama catches loss against LSU this week, and Ole Miss wins out, and LSU, and Ole Miss beats LSU. I mean, actually, no, Ole Miss lost to LSU. I think that is their one loss, huh? Or was it? No, it was to Alabama.
It was
So,
to Alabama. Yeah,
it was to Alabama. So they still have LSU. Why are they not playing LSU? They're in the what? Oh, they beat LSU. Okay, yeah, they beat
they beat them.
LSU. Yeah, so
That was LSU's second loss.
Yeah, they control their own destiny, and then they win this game, and you got a top 10 matchup against Georgia in Sanford Stadium. So Georgia's schedule kind of towards the end, shaping up to be tougher than what we expected as well.
I'll be honest, I forgot about that one, but I mean, looking ahead, I would think Georgia could walk past that one, but maybe my mind will change after this weekend. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think if I have to pick it, man, I think Ole Miss. Maybe they're focused. I don't like how Texas A&M has been playing. I think Texas A&M fans don't like it either. They don't like Jimbo right now. The state of the program is not where they need it to be. Lane Kiffin, I'm gonna go with Lane Kiffin in this offense. Can put up more points than Texas A&M can, and I don't think Texas A&M can hold them to what Alabama can. So I'm gonna go Ole Miss gets a win. I'm not locking it in or anything like that.
I got to tell you though, I know they're trying to figure out the buyout for Jimbo Fisher right now. Like, talk about a dream job. Being a previously successful college coach to where you sign a mega deal somewhere else and then you're bad. And so even if you get fired, you still are owed millions of dollars. You're getting paid millions of dollars to not work. Like, that's a dream scenario. That's my favorite. That's the job I want. I want to have like a really good career at first and then just coast to where they have to fire me. But it's like, hey, you know what? You still owe me millions of dollars, so go right ahead.
That's a perfect situation. Jimbo obviously set himself up for success there, and you know he does have a national championship. He can recruit.
He has proven year in and year out that he can recruit, minus the quarterback though.
Yeah,
minus the quarterback at Texas A&M. He did it with Jameis.
Did it with Jameis. Yep.
He did not do it with Texas A&M.
All right, moving on. Notre Dame at Clemson, and this one might be upset alert for Notre Dame. I don't know.
No.
I think Notre Dame's got this one handily. I think Notre Dame's got it handily, but also after you saw Dabo getting upset with the fan base, I feel like players got to rally around something like that. And I want to know, is Shipley hurt? Because Shipley got absolutely demolished last game. He looked like he was paralyzed. Like, I'm telling you. It was bad.
I don't know. I did not watch Clemson play last week. I didn't see the hit. I did not even know Will Shipley was injured. And I hope he's not, because he's a really good running back. Good, sneaky running back. He's done a fantastic job for them for like 2 years as the starting running back. But regardless, I have Notre Dame not only winning this game. I have them covering. I'm locking them in as my third lock. Like, I feel like I'm early on these locks. But I think that Notre Dame, after their bad loss against Louisville, really managed to turn something around. And then they win against USC and they just kicked their ass, got them out of that stadium, and then they played pretty well ever since then. And even when you're going into Clemson, and Clemson is always going to be a difficult place to play. They're down right now. They're not playing their best football. And Notre Dame is, and I would be shocked if Notre Dame can't keep the success moving while Clemson is down. I'm going to go with Notre Dame -3, lock it in.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like Shipley was placed in concussion protocol there, so he's not looking too hot for the game, and that is their top wide receiver. And Notre Dame's defense, very physical. Notre Dame's a very physical team. I think Notre Dame does get the win, and I almost made them one of my locks for the week, so it's an honorable mention lock, but I cannot do it just because I felt like there were other ones that were just better. I don't know. I don't know. I want to lock it with you so bad, but we can't tonight. We just can't.
It's
Sorry.
no.
Tennessee, UConn. Yeah, Tennessee's got that one.
Who cares?
Wisconsin at Indiana. I think Wisconsin's got that one as well. Nebraska, Michigan State. Nebraska, whatever. Moving on.
Hey,
Arizona-
Nebraska needs to win though. They're tied in the West right now for the Big 12 or the Big 10. I mean, the Big 10. They're tied in the West for first place. They have to keep winning. There's some momentum there for Matt Rule in Nebraska. Keep winning.
Look at that. You got Nebraska, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota all there in the West, tied at 3-2. So they got to win out. They got to beat Michigan State. Well, Michigan State's over here in the East, but I don't think that matters. I think it's still a conference win. You got Maryland. You got to beat Wisconsin and Iowa there at the end. I mean, if Nebraska and Matt Rule come here at the end of the season and win out, if you're a Cornhusker fan, you're pretty happy with that, right?
I think so. I mean, you're one win away from being bowl eligible for the first time in a while. And again, like you keep winning, you're looking at a possible appearance in the conference championship game. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not out of the realm of possibility for this team right now.
Not at all. Not at all. And that, you came a long way from where you were last year and a couple years ago, where you were like, can we just win a game? Anyway, moving on. Utah hosting Arizona State. I'm not giving a pick for this game. I just think it's interesting. Utah coming off a tough loss against Oregon. I think they do get the job done against Arizona State in Rice-Eccles. And
Same. I think they do also. This is a good rebound game.
yeah, that minus 11, though, it's a lot of points for an offense that doesn't put up a whole lot of points. So, besides against USC. So, I don't know about the spread. I might even go Arizona State plus 11 because that's a lot, but I think Utah gets the win. This Georgia Tech Virginia game also kind of interesting. I would stay away from it betting wise because Georgia Tech had a little upset there against North Carolina. Virginia upset North Carolina. Virginia liked to upset Miami, had it in overtime. Mario Cristobal said, I like overtime. You can't lose taking a knee in overtime. So he actually said that was a quote. That was like a Fox Sports quote from him. I was like, that's insane. He's still on it.
Man.
But yeah, this game is kind of crazy. Virginia's favorite -2. Honestly, I would take Georgia Tech +2 just to say fuck it and bet a dog. I don't know. I think that's really a good call.
So fun fact, I'm at my apartment complex, right? I'm looking over. I got the World Series on. This motherfucker just walked over here and changed the channel. And it's in the ninth inning of the World Series. And this guy turns the channel to the basketball game, and then he leaves the room.
Oh, are you gonna turn it back?
I mean, if he doesn't come back in 5 minutes, I am.
You gotta go turn it back. Go turn it back now. Say it's the ninth inning.
It's the ninth inning. This guy wants to watch the NBA right now. The season just started. This is the World Series. He's not a baseball fan. Go figure. Sorry, I had to side. I'm like looking over. You're talking, and I'm like, oh, don't do it.
I was wondering what was going on over there.
I'm giving it 5 minutes. I'm giving it 5 minutes.
It was the sports equinox last week. There's all kind of sports going on now. It's a good time of the year for everybody.
Yeah, almost it for baseball though.
Yeah,
we'll hang on to it for now.
Literally almost it. All right, Army at Air Force. You got to mention Air Force. Air Force, one of the only, I think, like 7 undefeated teams in the nation right now. They are just in the top 25. Yeah, they're ranked top 20.
They're fun.
Number 25. They're fun to watch. I think they get the win here and clinch the Commander-in-Chief's trophy.
They're your typical military team. They don't throw the ball a lot. They run the triple option. They move the ball. and I think I've only locked them in once this year, and I covered that spread. I decided not to do it because I think whenever military teams face off against each other, they just play each other so hard. They play each other so hard. Not quite like Army Navy, but like they play each other so hard. They're out here trying to. There's pride. There's that rivalry. So
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to do this one, but I do have Air Force winning.
Service Academy unders are a thing. It's like I want to say like 80% of the games are unders. Even the last one is 17-6 against Navy. Air Force won. So yeah, the over unders 31.5 though. That's very low, but I think it might hit. You just got it, and I think it's going to be played at Wrigley Field.
It is. Yeah, this game was so random, by the way. So random that they're playing this at Wrigley Field of all places.
So it's
Like,
got to
you have
it's got to go under. It's going to be baseball score. It's got to be
Yeah,
baseball.
it might be cold. I don't know what the temperature is like, and it's 40. It's like 44 degrees over here right now. So
Yeah,
I imagine it's got to be cold in Chicago.
Yeah, I hope it snows. Hope it's windy and snows for them. There we go. All right, moving forward. Now we got past the Service Academy supporting our college football student athlete troops. Missouri at Georgia. You would think, is this the game of the week?
Yeah, I mean, number 12 against number 2, Georgia being the home team. Missouri has had they've had a good year. They've just had a good year, and you know what? What was it? Their one loss was against LSU, where Missouri could have won that game, but they let up at the end of the game. I like Missouri, but not at Georgia. I just don't. I have Georgia winning this ball game. I'm not locking it in though, because I think this is gonna be an interesting one. But Georgia at home is just too hard to pass up. So give me Georgia.
Nice. And I'll speak for Justin because he did have Missouri plus 15.5. He did lock it in. So we'll lock it in for Justin there. If I had to pick, I didn't lock this game in. I think I would take Georgia minus 15.5. I think Georgia is hitting their stride. I think they're gonna win out. They're looking like the number 1 team, even though they're number 2 right now. And I think by the end of it, with Ole Miss coming up, with I think they got Tennessee still. So I think their schedule will end up being stronger than it is right now. So I got Georgia winning minus 15.5. I could see a close game though, but that's if they don't play good. Georgia comes to play, or at least they just come to play against Florida. I don't know.
See, I don't think Georgia really had a bad game this year. Like I've always felt that they've been, for the most part, very consistent. They've been very consistent as a team.
I would say this
all throughout.
This Auburn game right here, 27-20. It was 20-20 there in the fourth quarter. They liked the loss. And this South Carolina game, they were trailing at half.
That's right. They were trailing South Carolina like the whole first half.
Yeah. But you never know. South Carolina could have had their signs that game. Now you don't know.
Then they lost Connor. They lost Connor.
They lost him. All right. Moving forward, FSU is at Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is weird at Pittsburgh. They have ruined an undefeated season before for Miami in 2017. I think Miami was like 11-0, 12-0, something like that, or it had to have been 10 or 11-0. But yeah, they ruined it. But this is a 2-6 Pitt team. You got Pat Narduzzi throwing his players under the bus, or at least some people are saying he's throwing his players under the bus. I think that might have been taken a little out of context in the press conference there.
Yeah, I think it was too, because I mean, he kept saying over and over again, like, put it on me, put it on me. But he did make a comment. He was like, when you lose a bunch of players to the draft, which I think they had like 5 players drafted last year, he's like, we haven't been able to replace them.
Apparently we haven't.
And then the players are like, so I guess I'm not good enough to replace the guys that we lost. I'm with you. I think it was blown out of proportion. And he even went to Twitter afterwards and doubled down. Was like, look, put the loss on me. It's my fault. Like, I'm the reason why we're losing. It is what it is. And he just made the comment. That's, by the way, I'm about to change this TV, and not only that, move into this other room. Make sure that guy doesn't change channel again. But I don't see what the issue is here. I really don't.
I don't either. And I think that sort of thing might galvanize the team. Like, he might have went to them and said, hey, get off Twitter. These media corporations and these pundits are gonna make you to try to divide us. I'm not throwing you guys under the bus. All I'm saying was we had some good players, and right now I think we got to develop. I don't know. He could have worded it better. He could have worded it a little bit better.
I'm sure he could have worded it a little bit better. I guess he could have. At the end of the day, I just don't see, like, you know what? There are coaches who, like, would just get in your face and tell you exactly how they feel about you, exactly what is wrong with you. Dion was over here telling players to hit the transfer portal right when he walked in. Like, and Pat Narduzzi is over here saying, yeah, I mean, we just haven't really replaced the players that we lost the year before. Like, I'm sorry, it could have been way worse.
Yeah,
he could have gone in the locker room and said, "Hey guys, hit the transfer portal. You suck."
Yeah, and also same week, Dion did say his O line sucked, and the media didn't run with that and say he threw his players under the bus. They said Dion said his players sucked, and everyone was okay with that. So there is kind of a double standard going on. But FSU's favorite minus 21.5. That's a lot of points. FSU's been good at hitting their team totals. They've been pretty decent at covering the spread. I don't know. It's at 2:30 p.m. in Pittsburgh. It's going to be cold.
Pretty cold.
51 degrees. That's not bad.
That's good football weather.
Yeah.
That's football weather.
FSU's going to win this game. They're going to win this game because they got Miami next week and they got Florida at the FSU's got its sights set and its destiny set on the college football playoffs. And I don't think they're going to let Pitt get in the way. What do you think, Davis? Do you think Pitt stands a chance here?
No. I think Florida State's going to hold on to this one. But I did mention earlier, like, it was Miami going to Pitt back in 2017. They lost. I know I mentioned that earlier about Florida State. I think there's a sleeper in there that could hit them. I'm hoping it's Florida because I'm going to be there, but I don't think it's going to happen this week.
Hope it's Florida. Wish I could be there. We have a wedding to go to. Who does that?
Where's the wedding at?
Pensacola.
All right.
Yep. Another 2:30 game. This is a game I'm excited about.
Bedlam.
Oklahoma coming off a tough loss from Kansas. Oklahoma State, however, coming off a good win, a good streak of wins against Kansas State, Kansas, West Virginia, and Cincinnati. They did lose to Iowa State early in the year. I'm gonna discount that because that was before they found Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon last game ran for 271 yards. Oklahoma's been decent against the run. Last game, Kansas ran all over them. Quarterback was able to run all over him. The bean was bouncing all over the field. I think Ollie Gordon is a beast, dude. This guy is absolutely insane. Yeah, he's got in just like 4 games because I'm pretty sure they weren't running him. He's got 141 carries for over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns.
And keep in mind, Oklahoma State's first loss of the year was against South Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And they've rebounded well. And I know they had a loss more recently, but Oklahoma, they need this bounce back so bad. They need it so bad. They've looked like crap the last 2 games. They need this bounce back, but it's going to be so hard against Oklahoma State. I won't put it past Oklahoma State getting this victory. I just won't. I won't put it past them. Can't say I'm going to lock it in, but I would not put it past them.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Oklahoma State's going to win this ball game. Oklahoma State is going to win this ball game. I am going to lock in the over, though. We're sitting at 60.5. Do I think both these teams score 30 points? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Lock it in. But I do think Oklahoma State gets a victory. So go +3 with them all day if you want to bet some dogs. I like that a lot. Yeah, could Oklahoma come out and have a good showing? Could Dylan Gabriel go off? Yeah. And throw all over the field? Yeah, but that's good for the over. That's why we're locking in the over here. But I want Oklahoma State to win. This is a great – because people were Mike Gundy. It's like this is what happens when you doubt Mike Gundy and the Cowboys. They find a guy with the name Ollie who wears the number 0, which is just amazing, and just hands him the rock the whole time. All right, moving forward. Penn State, Maryland. Maryland, I don't have any faith in Maryland to pull off this upset. They just lost to Northwestern and Illinois
Tough one.
and Ohio State. Penn State, though, coming off a close victory against Indiana, that did not look good. Penn State, you gotta look good. You gotta look good this week at Maryland. You gotta cover. I'm staying away from the over under. I'm staying away from the cover. All that because I just don't trust this game. I look at this game like I'm walking in a bad neighborhood.
I don't trust this game either. I don't know what I mean, I think Penn State's going to get the win, but this was one of those weirdly sneaky games to me. I was like, I don't want to touch this one with a 10-foot pole. I think Penn State's going to win. It's going to probably be an ugly win.
I think so too. Another game I don't trust: Virginia Tech at Louisville. Louisville minus 9.5 favorites. I don't trust that spread. I don't trust the over under at 48. If I had to go, I think I might go over. But Virginia Tech could pull off the upset here. Louisville, not a team that's impervious to an upset. Virginia Tech's right behind them in the conference standings, and if they get this win, then they leapfrog Louisville. And you're talking about a Florida State Virginia Tech rematch potentially with North Carolina sitting there at 2 losses and Georgia Tech sitting there at 2 losses and Miami sitting there at 2 losses.
Louisville's tough. Louisville's tough to win at home right now, at least this year. They're a really good home team. A really good home team. Give me Louisville. I mean, it's almost like an honorary lock for me. I feel that good about them at home. That's not my last lock. We probably at this point late in this podcast, you probably know where my last lock is. But Louisville is just they're a strong team at home. They just are.
I mean, I like them to win here, but I just don't trust it enough to lock it in. Again, the ACC is just shaping up to be weird. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. We'll move fast because we are late in this podcast, and I'm seeing some locks I got to go over. Illinois, Minnesota, over under 42.5. Both these teams don't put up a whole lot of points.
Give me the under.
I'm taking the under all day. Exactly, Davis. I don't care who wins this game. Just keep it under 42.5 points. Locking that one in.
Locking it in. Wow.
Another game. I see. I did a few over unders this game. A game I will lock in a winner in. I see Houston here going to Baylor, and I think this is this way because Baylor's at home. But wrong team favorite. Wrong team favorite here. Rich Rodriguez. He's got these Houston Cougars winning a couple games, at least playing teams close. Baylor just came off a loss against Iowa State. I don't like that loss at all. I got Houston +4. If they don't win, I got a 4-point cushion. I'm gonna lock that one in.
I mean, you're clearly just looking at home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care about this game, to be honest with you.
That's fine. California at Oregon. I wouldn't be sad if you wanted to bet the over on this one. I think I stayed away from it. The over under 59.5 according to ESPN. So I don't mind that. I don't hate it at all. What I definitely don't hate is actually, I don't know. This is a lot of points. 76.5 points for the over under in Washington USC. I feel like it's gonna hit. Though.
Probably still gonna hit. See, this was okay. So it was this game and probably the next game you're about to talk about. I was just thinking, USC is gonna allow a lot of points, but USC still has, they still have Williams at quarterback, and I think that there's going to just be – I think these points are going to be scored. There's a reason why the over and under is there. I think it was just a little too high for me to want to jump on it. It was just a little too high for comfort, and that's why I stayed away from this game. I think Washington is going to win. They're going to score I think they're probably going to score 48 points. Yeah. I think USC is going to be a little bit more dialed in for this one, just enough to where they won't give up 50 points on defense.
I don't know. Does Washington's defense hold USC – below, kind of like Notre Dame did?
I don't know, but see, like I was just talking about Washington earlier in their defense not kind of being where they need to be. That's why I think that there's an opportunity for this to be a high scoring game. But I think the over and under is just still a little too high. I didn't want to touch this game. I do still have Washington winning though.
Yeah, I agree there. You got Michigan hosting Purdue. Hopefully Michigan doesn't let all this sign stealing talk stop them from beating Purdue. That's a night game at Michigan, so I think they should get that one easy. Shout
Now
out
this
to
one, no, don't move too fast on this one though, because this one is a lock for me in terms of the over. If you look at the over, I think that over is like 50 points. I think that one's like 50 points.
50 and a half.
I do think Michigan's going to score a lot of points.
You got a lock here?
I got a lock here. This is my fourth lock. The last lock's coming.
Nice. Locking in the over. Michigan over 50 and a half points. I don't hate that. I don't hate that a lot. I think they're going to put up points, and maybe Purdue scores a couple touchdowns. That's a good one. Ford. I was going to say, shout out to Justin. You got to take a shot. Hopefully you're working and maybe listen to this podcast.
He's probably taking a shot at work.
Yeah, you at least take a shot at work. You lost that Coastal Carolina versus Marshall game bad. Even with Grayson McCall out, they still lost. And I think they're going to lose again this week. I think Appalachian State's going to beat Marshall again. I'm sorry, man, but App State's favorite. I would roll with that. And I might even roll with the over. But honorary Marshall talk for our absent crew member here. All right. Miami at NC State. Watch out, Miami. Y'all got to get some victories together. NC State coming off a great victory against Clemson. Head coach talked shit to Steve Smith. Said, tell him we're not just a basketball school. He can kiss my ass, pretty much. That was hilarious. NC State, very physical football team. Miami, you had a tough loss against Georgia Tech, and you had a very close win against Virginia. Just watch out. You could lose. Colorado, Oregon State. Was this a game you were thinking about on the over?
No. Alabama, LSU.
Okay. So, I like the under in this one just because of defense, but I don't know. I also don't know about this one. I think Oregon State gets the win at Colorado. What do you say?
I don't. I mean, Oregon State. I mean, it's back at Colorado, which I would like to think there's some home field advantage. They can turn around, be a little pissed off after what happened at UCLA. I think Oregon State's just too strong. The Colorado, they still have Deion has some building left with this team. It's been one season. He's done a lot for this team in one season, so he still has a lot more left. But give me Oregon State in this one.
Speaking of UCLA and the Pac-12, we got one last game before the game of the week.
Damn, we get so many games.
There's so many good games this week, and I can't just skip over Arizona. Arizona with a great win last week. Oregon State, they went for it right before the half instead of kicking the field goal. And they also dropped a touchdown that was like right in the end zone. So Oregon State could have won that game. Ended up not. Arizona is not an easy place to get a victory in. And
this is a frisky team.
This is a frisky team.
They have been a good team.
I want to say they pull off the upset against UCLA. I don't think I locked it. I might have to correct myself. I have to go back and pull my locks up, but I got Arizona winning this game. I got them +3. So we'll see what happens. I like the over though. I like the over 51 and a half. UCLA's got a good defense though, so we'll see. That could be an under. All right. Moving on to the game of the week finally, and I'm gonna have to bring the clip on. It's the time of the year. It's Alabama. It's LSU. This game has championship implications almost every single year, and it's at Bryant-Denny. I don't know, man. There's nothing else to say. Let's run the clip. Do you smell an upset, Davis? Do you smell an upset on this
I
one?
smell a better's upset.
A better
So I will start off with this fun fact. Or really trivia? Do you know the last quarterback to beat a Nick Saban football team 2 years in a row? Obviously, Jalen Daniels did it last year, so he has the opportunity to do it this year. But do you know who was the last quarterback to beat Nick Saban twice, 2 years in a row?
Yeah, it was the Ole Miss quarterback, right?
No, because that was two different quarterbacks. You had Bo Wallace and Chad Kinney.
Uh,
Ole Miss beat him 2 years in a row. But that was two different quarterbacks.
Same quarterback.
Same quarterback.
Could it be Auburn? Did Auburn beat him 2 years in a row?
No.
No.
I don't think Auburn's ever beaten them 2
Was
years
it
in a
Joe
row.
Was it Joe Burrow?
No, Joe Burrow lost to him first time around at
Okay.
LSU.
Who
All
was
right,
it?
so
I'm stumped.
you keep thinking SEC. This dates back to the Michigan State days. It was Drew Brees.
What?
Drew Brees
Insane.
back at Purdue against Michigan State. Drew Brees was the last quarterback to beat Nick Saban 2 years in a row.
A Nick Saban team.
To beat a Nick, and that's what it said, a Nick Saban-led team. I didn't say Alabama.
You didn't say Alabama. That is a tricky trivia question. That's a good.
That
That
was a great trivia question. I can't take credit for it. I was listening to Pardon My Take earlier, and they brought it up. So that was a great trivia question that I felt like I had to bring up here. With that being said, this is going to LSU is a much better team. I feel like something happened against Missouri where they were like going back and forth. I thought Missouri was going to beat them the whole way there. And then in the fourth quarter, they just opened it up. And since then, I don't think LSU has looked back. They have been a stronger team. They did the same exact thing last year. And now here they are against Alabama. Now it's at Alabama, not at LSU like it was last year. And so it's going to be a tougher game. But Alabama, I think that there has been opportunities where Alabama has really struggled, but they managed to play well in the second half. And that is how they won their games in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So LSU has to win. They obviously have to win the first half, and they have to keep it up in the second half. And I think that's how they cover the spread. It's +3 for LSU. I'm locking it in because I do think LSU is going to get it done. I don't even think they're just going to cover the spread. I actually think this is going to be an outright win for LSU. Lock it in.
Locking it in. And if this is not one of my overs, I'm definitely going to lock in the over and I might have to change the graphic here because 60.5, that's not enough points. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this ball game. I think LSU scores at least 30. I think Alabama scores at least 30. LSU's defense isn't that great. They've allowed let's see, in their last few sides, the Army game, they allowed Auburn to score 18, Missouri scored 39, Ole Miss 49, Arkansas 31. Yeah, I think Alabama can score at least 30 against this defense. So I'm locking in the over at 60.5.
Yeah,
for sure. And that'll do it for week 10. Let's bring up the locks and see what we got. We'll do Justin here because see if this is his locks from last week or the week before. I think this is this week. Yeah, this is this week. Justin's got Missouri with the +15.5 against Georgia. Washington covering and winning against USC -3. Oregon beating. Wait, who did we say Oregon was playing again? They're playing.
Fuck, I don't remember.
That's what our brains are fried. Oregon -24.
I'm tired.
Me too. Ole Miss -3 over Texas A&M and the Kansas State Texas over. And let's see who I had because okay, I took the Bedlam over. I think that's a great over. The Illinois Minnesota under 42.5. Oregon State Colorado over. I might change that. That's the one I'm going to change. That's the one I'm going to change for. Actually, I don't know. I'll have to change one of these. I got for the Alabama LSU over. I got Houston +4 beating Baylor and Kansas +2. We didn't mention this game. That's the game we kind of skipped over. Kansas beating Iowa State. I think the wrong team's favored in that game as well. I got Kansas plus 2.5 coming off the victory against Oklahoma, and Diggity Dave leading the pack with nope, that was last week. We'll go this week. Leading the pack 29-19. Congratulations. You're leading the pod. I'll let you do your lock rundown.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about Ohio State. I think they're on fire right now. They're scoring points at will. Again, respective records, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough for them. I like this K-State Texas over because I think K-State's going to score points, but so will Texas, Notre Dame. I'm loving Notre Dame right now. Even going into Clemson, I think they're down bad. Michigan, Purdue. I think Michigan's just going to score so many points that over is going to hit. I've already hit it once. I'm going to hit it again with Michigan. And then LSU, I think that outright win is there. They just have to play well in the second half. They have to. But I think LSU is strong enough to do that.
Awesome. Yeah, and Oregon plays California. So that minus 24, I think that's good. I think it's a lot of points. I don't know. California is not bad. So we'll see what happens there. But that'll do it for us here in College Football Extravaganza. Thanks again for sticking with us. Last two have gone an hour 45. So we might have to figure out something with the formatting.
The big thing is that it took us like 40 minutes to finally actually get into games. So that's just it.
We talked about the Gators for like 30 minutes.
We say every week we need to cut it back a little bit. We never do.
Yeah, it is what it is.
We'll maybe get it right next week.
Maybe we'll see what happens. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, maybe later on you listen at work. If you stumble upon us, like and subscribe to the pod on YouTube, and we're on X, Instagram, all that good stuff, all your podcatchers. Peace